The physician presses his hands hard against her swollen stomach. Petronia does not flinch. She stares at the stone wall. She does not scream. She has learned to go to a place inside her head where men's hands cannot reach her. But this is not a medical checkup. This is an appraisal. The man standing in the corner is not her husband. He is her owner. His name is Gaius Cavilius Vaitia. He is 43 years old. He stands with his arms crossed. He watches the physician handle her body the same way a farmer watches a vet handle a prize cow. He does not look at Petronia's face. He hasn't looked at her face in 7 months. He is only looking at the investment. 7 months, the physician says. The positioning is correct. The mother is strong. Vaitia nods. He doesn't care about her strength. He cares about the math. The question, Vaitia says, his voice dry as dust, is whether the investment justifies the cost. The room goes cold. The other slaves by the door stop breathing. Petronia feels the ice spread through her chest. She knows what this means. She knows the rules of this house. Forget the movies. Forget the marble statues of senators debating justice. In this room, on the Via Appia, 12 miles outside Rome, a different kind of history is happening. This is the history of the ledger. Petronia is a slave. Her mother was a slave. Her grandmother was a slave. She is property. And under Roman law, the thing growing inside her is not a baby. It is an asset. The law is clear. Parta sequitur ventrum. The offspring follows the womb. If the mother is a chair, the child is a chair. If the mother is cattle, the child is cattle. The father does not matter. The father could be a king. The father could be Vaitia himself. It changes nothing. Vaitia steps closer. He needs to know one thing. Tell me the sex, he demands. The physician hesitates. The gods alone know. The signs are not reliable. The gods are not managing my household accounts. Vaitia snaps. Give me your assessment. This is the terror. Petronia knows that in most Roman households, a pregnant slave is a disaster. It means lost labor. It means 18 months of reduced productivity. Most masters scream when they find out. They force the women to drink poison herbs. They beat the stomach until it is flat again. But Vaitia is different. Vaitia is a businessman. He doesn't see a problem. He sees a factory. He runs the Villa Cavillana like a machine. He has 120 slaves. He didn't buy them. He bred them. He calls it natural increase. He keeps a book, a black book. In it, he tracks every cycle, every coupling, every birth weight. He matches men and women like he matches horses. He calculates the feed cost against the sale price. He is not a monster. He is something much worse. He is rational. The physician presses his ear to her skin. He checks her pulse. He looks at the way she carries the weight. The silence stretches for 15 minutes. Petronia stands like a statue. She is praying. She is praying for a boy. A boy can work in the fields. A boy can be sold at age 10 for a profit. A boy might survive. Based on the indicators, the physician finally says. Vaitia leans in. The air smells of burning herbs and fear. I believe she carries a female. Petronia's heart stops. Vaitia does not smile. He does not cheer. But his shoulders drop. A ripple of satisfaction moves through him. Good, he says. Petronia stares at the wall. Why? Why does he want a girl? Keep monitoring her. Vaitia orders. Full rations. But do not coddle her. I want her back at full productivity 3 months after the birth. He turns and walks out. He doesn't look back. He has checked the inventory. The inventory is satisfactory. The physician packs his bag. The slaves go back to scrubbing the floor. The world keeps turning. But Petronia stands there. Her hand moves to the curve of her belly. She feels the life kick against her palm. A daughter. She doesn't know yet. She doesn't know the plan. She doesn't know that Vaitia has a special column in his ledger for miles of high quality. She doesn't know that he has already calculated the price of this unborn girl's virginity. She doesn't know that her daughter is already sold. In the slave quarters that night, the truth comes out in whispers. An old woman named Horatia finds Petronia in the dark. Horatia has survived 3 owners. She has no teeth left. She has no children left. He wants a girl, Petronia whispers. Why does he want a girl? Horatia looks around to make sure the guards aren't listening. Her voice is like dry leaves scraping on stone. He has plans for them, Horatia says. What plans? The pretty ones, Horatia says. The smart ones, like you. Horatia points a crooked finger at Petronia's face. You read, you speak Greek. You have good teeth. He breeds for that. Petronia feels sick. For what? For the market in Rome, Horatia says. Not for the fields, for the bedrooms. The horror hits her. Vaitia isn't just breeding slaves. He is curating a luxury product. He selects the mothers with the best features. He mates them. He waits. He keeps them. Horatia whispers. He raises them in the training house. He teaches them to dance. He teaches them to sing. He teaches them to please. And then he sells them to men who pay double for a girl who doesn't cry. Petronia looks down at her stomach. He will take her. He will take her, Horatia says. He took mine. Horatia's face is a mask of tragedy. She recites the list like a grocery bill. 2 boys. Sold at 10. 1 girl defective. Exposed on the hill. Exposed. That is the Roman word for murder. You leave the baby outside the city walls. The cold takes them. Or the wolves. Or the slavers who prowl the dumps looking for free stock. 2 more girls, Horatia continues. Selected for training. Sold at 18. I don't know where they are. I am not allowed to remember them. Petronia holds her breath. And the last one. A boy. He works in the fields. I see him every day. He doesn't know who I am. This is the system. You are not a mother. You are a vessel. You are a machine that prints money for the master. A homeborn slave, a Verna, is worth 40% more than a captured slave. A Verna has never tasted freedom. A Verna doesn't try to run away. A Verna is broken before they are even born. Vaccia knows this. He bets on it. Petronia lies on her straw mat. The stone walls press in. She has 7 weeks left. 7 weeks before the harvest. She thinks about ending it. She knows the herbs. She knows she could drink the tea that stops the heart. She knows she could fall down the stairs. But she feels the kick again. A small fluttery movement. She wants to see her. It is a selfish, dangerous thought, but she wants to see the face of the thing that will ruin her. She decides then. She will not drink the poison. She will not die. She will play the game. She will be the perfect slave. She will eat the extra rations. She will let the physician measure her hips. But she makes a vow in the darkness. I will remember. She whispers to the stone ceiling. She will remember the name. She will remember the date. Most slaves forget. They have to. The pain is too much. They let the training erase the past. Petronia will not forget. She will be the one glitch in Vaccia's perfect machine. She doesn't know how yet. She has no power. She has no money. She has no weapon. All she has is a name. Lucia. She names the child in her head. She doesn't say it aloud. If you say it aloud, they can take it. The clock is ticking. The ledger is waiting. And the master is sleeping soundly in his bed, dreaming of the gold coin his new product will bring. The scream cuts the morning air. It lasts 18 hours. Petronia fights on the straw mat. The midwife holds her down. Vaccia does not come. He is in his study, drinking wine, waiting for the report. He only needs the inventory count. Finally, silence. Then a cry. The midwife lifts the bundle, red-faced. Squalling. Perfect. A girl, the midwife says. Petronia reaches out. Her arms are shaking. She pulls the wet, slippery body against her chest. And in that second, the world breaks. The stone walls vanish. The fear vanishes. There is only the heat of this small life. She whispers the name into the baby's hair. Lucia. It is a secret name. A dangerous name, because names imply personhood. And this baby is not a person. 6 weeks later, the steward comes. Bring the item to the atrium. Petronia walks to the main house. She holds Lucia tight. She stands on the mosaic floor. Vaccia is there. The physician is there. They do not say hello. The physician takes the baby. He measures the skull. He checks the reflexes. He pulls the legs straight to check the bone structure. Petronia stands still. She is not a mother here. She is the packaging that delivered the goods. Excellent specimen. The physician says. She has her mother's features. High market potential. Vaccia nods. He writes in the book. The name is Primer. Vaccia says. First. Not a name. A number, the first of the batch. Nurse her for 1 year. Vaccia orders. Then transfer her to the training quarters. I need you back on the breeding rotation in 3 months. 1 year. Petronia walks back to the slave quarters. Her legs feel heavy. The sentence has been passed. She has 365 days. She becomes a miser of time. She hoards minutes like gold coins. She watches Lucia grow. The baby is smart, too smart. By 10 months, Lucia watches faces. She tracks the guards. She knows when to be quiet. She knows that silence is safety. Petronia teaches her. She doesn't teach her to cook or sew. The masters will teach her that. Petronia teaches her the things they will try to erase. She whispers Greek myths in the dark. Stories of women who tricked gods. She sings the songs her own mother sang. She teaches her the word for love. She teaches her the word for mother. She is planting seeds in a field that is about to be burned. The year ends. They come at dawn. No warning. No goodbye. The door bangs open. 2 guards, they don't speak. One grabs Petronia, the other grabs the child. Petronia screams. She fights. She claws at the guard's face. It takes 3 men to hold her down. The steward steps in. The whip cracks. She doesn't feel the leather. She only feels the tearing in her chest. They carry the child away. Lucia is screaming. Her little arms reach back. Then the door slams. Silence. Petronia lies on the floor. She is bleeding. She is empty. But she does not die. She remembers. Lucia is gone. But she hasn't left the estate. She is in the training facility. It stands on the far side of the hill. It looks like a school. It is a factory. Inside there are no mothers. There are only instructors. For 3 years, Petronia hears nothing. Then she starts to build a web. She trades favors. She steals wine for the guards. She washes clothes for the stable boys. She buys whispers. The news trickles back. The girl is smart. A kitchen slave tells her. She reads better than the boys. The girl is beautiful, a gardener says. She plays the lyre like a muse. The girl is trouble. A guard grunts. She asks questions. She asks where she came from. They beat her, but she asks again. Petronia feels a cold pride. Good. The training is brutal. They are teaching Lucia to be a companion. That is the polite word. They teach her to read poetry. They teach her to dance. They teach her that she has no will. They teach her that her only purpose is to make a Roman man feel like a god. But the glitch is there. Lucia remembers something. The seeds are growing. When Lucia is 7, the test comes. A buyer arrives. He represents a senator in Rome. He wants a girl. Young, musical, intelligent. Petronia hears about it 3 days early. She has one chance. She bribes a laundry slave who works in the training house. It costs her everything she has saved for 5 years. The message is short. Your mother remembers your true name. Be defective. Survive. She doesn't know if the message arrives. She waits. The inspection day is hot. The senator's man sits in the garden. Varcha brings out the products. He brings out Prima. She is 7. She is beautiful. She plays the song perfectly. She recites the poem. Then, the man asks her a question. Prima looks up. She looks him in the eye. Slaves never look you in the eye. What will happen to me if you buy me? She asks. Her voice is clear. It is not the voice of a toy. It is the voice of a person. The man blinks. He writes a note. Independent cognition. Hard to manage. Liability. He leaves without her. Watcher is furious. He storms into the training house. He orders. Intensified conditioning. That means isolation. That means darkness. That means breaking the mind until it stops asking questions. Petronia hears the news. She weeps. But she smiles. Her daughter is still here. Years pass. The game repeats. Buyers come. They see the beauty. They see the talent. Then they see the eyes. There is something in the eyes. A hardness. A spark. They walk away. Vacha lowers the price. Still no buyers. Lucia turns 12. 15. 18. She is a woman now. She is stunning. But she is unmarkable. Vacha is trapped. He has spent a fortune raising her. He can't sell her for a profit. He can't kill her. She is too valuable an asset to destroy. But he can't keep her. She is a failed investment, a red mark in the ledger. He hates her. He looks at her with cold disgust. And Petronia, watching from the shadows of the main house, sees the opening. She is 40 years old now. She is grey. She is invisible. But she has been watching someone else. She has been watching Vacia's daughter. Servilia. Servilia is a Roman wife. She is rich. She is bored. And she is jealous. She competes with her friends. She wants the best jewels, the best robes, the best slaves. Petronia is Servilia's hairdresser when she visits the estate. She whispers while she combs. The training house. Petronia says casually, I hear there is one girl there. Exceptional. Servilia looks in the mirror. Oh, too good for the market? Petronia lies. The masters say she is too intelligent for ordinary men. Only a very sophisticated household could manage her. Servilia's eyes narrow. Vanity is a powerful lever. Show her to me, Servilia says. The trap is set. Petronia has maneuvered the pieces for 17 years. She is about to gamble everything on one move. If it fails, they both die. If it works, they walk into the lion's den together. The coin hits the table. The deal is done. Servilia smiles. She thinks she has won a prize. She thinks she has bought the most difficult, exclusive slave in Italy. She doesn't know she has bought a Trojan horse. Vacha signs the transfer papers. He is relieved. He has finally offloaded the failed asset. He has recovered some value from the girl who refused to break. He doesn't care where she goes. He just wants her off his ledger. But Petronia is not finished. She steps forward. She keeps her head down. She speaks to Servilia in a voice smooth as oil. The girl is difficult, Domina. Petronia whispers, she requires management. A familiar face might help her transition, someone to ensure she does not embarrass you. It is a masterful lie. It plays on Sevilia's vanity. Sevilla doesn't want a rebellious slave ruining her dinner parties. She wants insurance. Add the old woman to the bill, Sevilla says. And just like that, the lock clicks open. Petronia and Lucia are loaded onto the cart. They leave the Villa Curvilana. They leave the place of their erasure. They travel north, toward the smoke and noise of Rome. For the first time in 17 years, mother and daughter are in the same space. But there is no hug. There is no tearful reunion. Lucia sits on the far side of the cart. She looks at Petronia. Her eyes are blank. She sees an old woman. She sees a stranger. She sees another slave. The conditioning worked. Varchia's training house did its job. They wiped her memory. They scrubbed the infant years from her brain. Lucia does not know who Petronia is. She doesn't know she has a mother. She thinks she was born in the facility. This is the cruelty that beats the whip. The whip heals. This does not. They arrive in Rome. Sevilia's house is a palace of marble and gold. But for the slaves, it is a hive. Petronia is assigned to the wardrobe. Lucia, now Prima, is assigned to the music room. They work in the same house. They breathe the same air. Petronia watches her. She sees the way Lucia moves. Graceful, terrified, a performance. She sees the way Lucia flinches when a door slams. She wants to run to her. She wants to scream, "I am here." But she waits. Patience is the only weapon she has. If she moves too fast, Lucia might panic. She might tell the guards. A slave claiming family ties is a slave causing trouble. Trouble gets you sold. Petronia starts small. A piece of bread left on Lucia's pillow when she is hungry. A warning whisper before the mistress arrives in a bad mood. A mended tunic. She becomes the invisible hand that makes Lucia's life survivable. Months pass. The ice begins to crack. Lucia starts to look at her. Not as a stranger, but as an ally. In a house of wolves, the dog that doesn't bite is your best friend. One evening, the house is quiet. Sevilla is at a banquet. The slaves are resting in the atrium shadows. Petronia sits beside Lucia. She threads a needle. She keeps her voice low. "Do you know the Greek stories?" Petronia asks. Lucia looks up. "I learned them in training. Part of the culture package." "The story of Demeter," Petronia says. "The mother who searched the world for her stolen daughter?" Lucia nods. "I know it. It's a sad story. Why? Because even when she found her," Lucia says, her voice flat, "she couldn't keep her. Not really. The girl had eaten the pomegranate seeds. She belonged to the underworld now. In the story, yes," Petronia says. She stops sewing. She looks directly at the young woman. "But myths are just stories we tell to explain pain." The air in the room shifts. The silence stretches tight as a bowstring. "What if I told you a different story?" Petronia whispers. "A story that is not a myth." Lucia freezes. The training kicks in. Be alert. Be suspicious. "What story?" Petronia tells her. She doesn't use poetry. She uses facts. She tells her about the examination room, the physician's cold hands, the day the guards came, the screaming. She tells her about the bribe, the laundry slave, the message sent to a 7-year-old girl. "Your mother remembers your true name. Be difficult." Lucia's face changes. The mask of the companion slips. Her eyes widen. A memory buried under layers of trauma and lessons begins to vibrate. "You sent the message," Lucia whispers. "I sent it." Lucia stares at the old woman's hands, rough, scarred, the hands that mended her tunic. "You are my mother." It isn't a question. It is a collision. "I am. You planned this," Lucia says. "For 17 years, since before you were born." Lucia starts to shake. She looks around the marble room. She looks at the chains of obligation that still bind them. "Why didn't you escape?" she demands. There is anger in her voice, the anger of the abandoned. "Why didn't you take me and run?" "Run where?" Petronia asks gently. "There is no where. We are property. If we run, we are hunted. If we are caught, we are branded. I couldn't give you freedom, Lucia. No one can give us that." She reaches out. For the first time in nearly 2 decades, she touches her daughter's face. "I could only give you this. Us. Together." Lucia leans into the touch. The wall comes down. "That is not freedom," Lucia says. Her voice breaks. "We are still slaves. Sevilla owns us. She can sell us tomorrow." "I know," Petronia says. "But tonight, she does not own your history. Tonight you are not Prima. You are Lucia. And you are not the old woman," Lucia says. "No. You are the one who remembered." They sit in the dark. They are still assets. They are still items on a ledger. But the ledger is wrong. The system relies on isolation. It relies on the belief that a slave has no family, no past, no loyalty except to the master. In this room, under the nose of the Roman aristocracy, Petronia has committed the ultimate act of rebellion. She has rebuilt a family. But rebellion has consequences. Lucia wipes her face. The softness vanishes. The eyes that scared the buyers return. But this time, they are not looking at a stranger. They are looking at a partner. "Tell me," Lucia says. "Tell me what we do next." Petronia smiles. It is a dangerous smile. "Why survive," she says. "And we make them pay, not with money, not with blood. Those are cheap. They will pay with the one thing Rome hates to lose: control." They did not burn the villa down. They did not poison Sevilia's wine. Movies like revenge to be loud. Reality is quieter. Petronia and Lucia chose a different weapon. They became indispensable. They learned the household better than the mistress did. They managed the accounts. They controlled the keys. They made themselves the spine of the house. If they left, the body would collapse. This gave them power. They used it. Not to save everyone, they couldn't. But they saved some. When a kitchen maid became pregnant, they manipulated the roster to hide her condition. When a family was set to be split at auction, they whispered in the master's ear to sell them as a set. They built a network, a secret web of mothers and daughters stretching across Rome. They passed messages. They kept memories alive. They refused to let the system erase them. Petronia lived for 22 more years. She died at 62. She was still a slave. She owned nothing. The law said she was a piece of furniture that had worn out. But when she took her final breath, she was not alone. She was holding her daughter's hand. Vacca had tried to stop this moment. The training facility had tried to stop it. The entire Roman legal code was written to prevent this connection. They failed. Petronia died looking into the eyes of the child she was supposed to forget. That was the victory. Lucia lived on. She served for another 30 years. She was an old woman, 70 years old when the paper finally came. Sevilia's grandson freed her in his will. A reward for loyal service. She walked out of the house. She was free. Her body was broken. Her life was mostly gone, but she had one thing left to do. She found a scribe. She bought ink. And she did the one thing a slave is never supposed to do. She wrote it down. She wrote about the breeding program. She wrote about Vacca's ledger. She wrote about the training that turned girls into toys. She wrote about the mothers who prayed for miscarriages. She called it the testimony. The original scroll is gone. The Romans didn't care about the memoirs of an old ex-slave. They let it rot. But fragments survived. Quotes in other books. References in legal texts. Scholars call it the testimony of Prima. That is why we know. We know because one woman refused to let the silence win. Now, zoom out. Look at the Colosseum. Look at the statues in the museum. Look at the white marble pillars we put on our courthouses. We call this civilization. We call Rome the foundation of Western justice. But the foundation was cracked. The system that broke Petronia wasn't an accident. It was the law. The smartest men in history, Cicero, Seneca, Ulpian, sat in rooms and debated the best way to breed humans. They didn't see evil. They saw economics. They created a world where a rapist was just a property manager. They created a world where a mother had no right to her child, but a creditor had a right to her fetus. Vacca wasn't a monster. He was a good Roman. He followed the rules. He was rational. And that is the most terrifying part. True evil isn't a madman with a knife. True evil is a man with a ledger who believes he is doing the right thing. The villa on the Via Appia is gone now. The walls have crumbled. Vacca's bones are dust. Sevilia's gold is lost. But the system remains. We just changed the names. We don't call them slaves anymore. We don't call it breeding. But we still have ledgers. We still have people who look at human beings and see only numbers. Petronia's name was never written in stone. No monument stands for her, but she existed. She fought. She won the only war that mattered. And now, you know her name. You are the only one who does. The Romans tried to erase her. By watching this, you just proved them wrong. Subscribe to the historical archives. We dig up the bodies the history books try to bury. Comment below, I remember. Let the algorithm know that Petronia is still here.